106.1 X Radio. This is the Big Talk. Welcome, all of you listening and watching the show from wherever you are. Today at Parliament, the Appointment Committee did spend the day vetting members of the Cabinet, ministers, and it was quite a long one. Just day one, I'm told there's going to be another vetting that is going to take place tomorrow. But can this Cabinet deliver? Joining us on the show, UPC President Jimmy James Akena. Always a pleasure having you on the Big Talk.
Thank you very much for hosting me again. It's a pleasure to be back.
What are your 2 cents on this new cabinet?
Let's be honest with ourselves. It's more of the same. I don't expect any great innovation, change, or direction. So, it's just as it is. Yeah.
When you say you don't expect anything and having expectations that low, does it mean that regardless of who is in the office, nothing changes, regardless of the office holder?
No, I think the setup which we have gone for a presidential system with a very domineering president. And if you notice, towards the end of the last parliament, what would whip the ruling party together is anything to do with opposition. And not issues of development, not issues of whatever, but when it's opposition, it's as if the opposition became the one item which could change the whole dynamic of the country. That you solve this one problem and everything will be perfect. But that is never the case. There are many other issues which are supposed to be taking place. There are issues where we've been struggling, but we're not dealing with. But we can rally around particular issues. When you personalize it, make it the issue that, no, it is this group, it is a question of Noop, it's a question of that has been the order of day. So we're not discussing policies, we're not discussing what it is that affects the people. So if that is not the question which is there, how are you going to get the right answer? And the team which has been set up, I don't see them looking at the answers for the problems which the people face. That's the reality.
I've seen them pledge to work, to put in the work, and they all say it's time to fight corruption. It's time to get the services to the people. For you, is it same wine in old bottles?
You can talk about getting corruption, but I look at corruption like cancer. Within a society, corruption is the cancer. Now, when you have corruption in very important offices, it spreads very deep. People look up to others. If the lifestyle of others is being admired and people are aiming for that's the focus which people are going to be growing up with. So that has been the order of the day. Now, with cancer, the treatments for cancer are very drastic. I've been around cancer survivors. Often they start with chemotherapy, which is literally poison. They poison the body, but because of the greed of the cancer cells will consume more of the poison than the rest of the cells, so they die faster than the rest. But it causes a lot of pain to the patient. There's issues of surgery where they pull out, and often with also good tissue around there so that they remove all the cancer, that it does not continue to spread. There's radiotherapy. All of these therapies for cancer are terrible, but it's necessary to avoid the cancer spreading so far. And when it reaches a certain stage, the stage 4 cancer patients, they just do palliative care. Now, the stage where Uganda has reached, where you have the number 3 in Uganda bringing the whole scandal of corruption, how deep is that corruption? How far has it gone? It's not that we woke up one day and realized, there's cancer. This cancer has been going for long. Is it at a stage where it is redeemable? Can we just remove one officer and say that you've removed the cancer? Or it has gone right into the system, and now we have to think about radical ways of how we can deal with this whole issue of corruption. Now, expectations of delivery is very limited. Last time I was on the show here, I talked about service delivery. We, members of parliament, have been struggling to deliver ambulances to be able to now take patients to hospitals. But that's not the role of a member of parliament. That whole budgeting process had disappeared. Yet we have the parliament, we have the numbers in parliament. Why can we not have a system which works? We must have a plan for a system which works. But the system which has been built is a system of patronage. So you have those contradictions. So can we address it? Not in the present form, but yes, it's addressable.
If you were to be consulted or engaged on cabinet appointments, what would your list look like?
I'm going to be looking more at what can the performance can be and what is the overall vision of where Uganda can be. And I think that is something which people are not looking at, because some of the vision determines who can fulfill that vision. So if the vision is not clear, and then the players also do not give a clear direction where it is going, I don't see it coming through.
There's been debate on competence. But political appointments do not look at competence and merit, but rather political reward. Does that debate for you carry water?
It's true. I mean, it's obvious in many cases. I've been in Parliament for long, and I've seen some of the pros and cons. I've seen political appointees who are so scared to give an opinion of their docket because they're not sure what the appointing authority will think. So if they're not comfortable in their position of how they can or what their role is supposed to be, i.e. they don't know their role in this big picture of what are we trying to bring forward. So somebody is very careful not to say the wrong thing so that you don't lose appointment. So there are people who are so important in the prestige of the appointment, but have even not thought about how it is going to be possible to deliver on that particular docket. And ultimately, if we're to deliver, we must deliver a qualitative and quantitative improvement in whichever area. If we're not delivering for the people of Uganda, what are we doing? If there's no qualitative change, what are we doing? If these problems keep going forward, I don't think we'd have delivered. So, do I look at a team which can deliver? I don't. Honestly, I don't.
Okay, so for you then, what would work? A complete overhaul of the entire system?
I think we need to have an honest conversation with ourselves. Where it is that we hope to go, where we have reached, and how we're going to get there. I've seen concerns. We are quickly sliding into an unsustainable debt to GDP ratio, even when you factor in the oil. Because a lot of the borrowing which we are doing goes towards this patronage type system. For example, we went through this whole issue of rationalization, cutting down on expenditure with these agencies, bringing them to the mother ministries. And I want to increase the ministries. Have you reduced? The next issue would have been also rationalizing the ministries. But you started with the agencies and then you want to expand because it's a question of reward, not performance. I'm sure there are people who might have been appointed who will struggle to have access, even to discuss their docket with the appointing authority. That is an honest reality, and that person is supposed to deliver. God bless Uganda.
But this list of cabinets, when you look at it, what does it reflect? Renewal, competence, or there's even a debate on just beyond political reward, there's a debate on regional balance. Is that debate still relevant? Should it be relevant?
You see, if it is a system which, why do we have so many ministers? If the system has to create that balance or to touch on different regions, then it should reflect fairly across the regions. Because there are other perks or other maybe non-directly tangible benefits of having leaders who have access, who have presence on the table. So matters of concern maybe for community can more easily be heard if you have the right leaders at the right place. So it is important for regions. It is important the distribution should be fair across the country. That's part of the equity. You cannot do it equally, exactly, but there should be some level of fairness, because degrees of competence should be the same across across all parts. People are people. I mean, there's no significant difference on where somebody comes from, but now the access to power, the access to resource, the access to have your matter in the forefront, that makes a huge difference. So those who have more access definitely will have more opportunity for matters to be addressed.
Well, as a leader from Lang'o, because I've seen the reactions to the new cabinet, they varied across the entire country, from Lang'o to Kigezi, Bugisu, even Busoga. They're saying is not proper representation. As someone from Lang'o and a national leader, how do you view equity in this cabinet and regional representation?
I don't view equity, but like I said, I am not so much on the issue of the appointment. I'm more interested in the delivery. Can this cabinet deliver? Even if we didn't have a representative in whatever place, it's just that if somebody ends up where they have need, you end up in your rural clinic, but you get the services.
No one is going to ask whether the health minister is from Lang'o or Chole.
For me, it shouldn't matter. So long as you get there and you get the services which you need, that is what we really want. If the kids from the region can be able to get an education which can make them independent, can make them thrive, that is fine. If they can be able to get jobs, that is okay. If they can be able to produce and their produce is taken, that is okay. It doesn't so matter about the office. But now we put so much emphasis on the office, but we fail on the delivery. So I think we've got things the wrong way around. So for me, it's at the end of the day, what is it that we're able to deliver for the citizens of Uganda?
Right. There's a long-standing debate and an inevitable conversation that is on transition. Do you view this new term for 5 years of the NRM as a transitional term?
In many ways, it is a transitional term. But I think some of those who are expected to play a major role in the transition have found themselves on a slightly weaker footing than they had hoped. So it throws everything. Yes, transition is on, but how is it going to look? What is the future of NRM? NRM as a party has maybe come back a bit stronger than some who had hoped to be part of the transition. But in my case, I hope to be part of that conversation, but my contribution to that conversation is for and on behalf of the people, with clear programs, policies which will make a difference.
What do you think the people deserve in this transition debate?
For me, it is equity. We need to have an opportunity to have a free and fair process which will set the Uganda which we hope for. You can't create a democracy by just hoping. You can't create a democracy by tweaking it to try and give an outcome which you hope will serve your interest. A lot of the notions and ideas around the democracy are tested against other ideas. So whatever people are trying to craft in the transition, it will have to hit the ground, and the ground has its own way of determining what is going to happen.
Right.
So you may carefully plan that you think a transition is going to work like this. It may not work the way you plan. It's better that we have an honest conversation across political lines, across different ideas, across different notions. That has been my hope and my prayer. I'll continue to do so as best as I can, and therefore I continue to maintain that what has been done is not on my side in the spirit of the broader transition and where Uganda should be at the end of the day.
The transition direction will be shaped